In this video, we're going to be revising all the different standard algorithms at higher level, as well as putting them into sub-programs, so that's procedures and functions. So it's set up a bit different. What you're going to need to do is, if you haven't already, join the new REPL team on Microsoft Teams, and then click on this button here, the one that says Teams Beta, and it should just be the one for you. And you should see this, and then if you scroll to the bottom, you won't see nearly as many as I can, but if you scroll to the bottom, or I guess it'll be the only one that shows up for you, and look at week 1 standard algorithms, and the ones where it's in order, so we'll start with finding minimum, maximum, counting occurrences, and then linear search. I'll just quickly run through each of the tasks and what you've got to do, and then once I've done that, I'm going to come back to this one and go over that like line by line, just so you've got like a starting point. So if you click on that, and what you should see is, I'll just make the text a bit larger, so you should see the code I've started off for you here, and then there's another file here called task.md, and that is everything you've got to do. So shouldn't be anything too new to you. So the finding minimum is when you've got an array and it finds obviously it finds the minimum, it finds the smallest number. So here's the pseudocode that you can follow, and you just follow that line by line, and in the end you should get the youngest age is 19. I'll come back to this one and go through it line at a time, just in case you're a bit rusty with pseudocode, but for now let's look at the rest of the tasks. So finding maximum, very similar. Once you do finding minimum, you can just copy and paste it over, and then change the symbols around, and then make the array different at the start, and there's really not much to do. That's basically what the task says: copy and paste and change a few things. However, there is task 2, display the corresponding username for the oldest person. So to do that, you're going to need to keep track of the variable I in your code, where you find the lowest age, and then that means that you can, it'll make sense if you look at the task. So there's 2 arrays side by side, and then say it, so the oldest person is this, so it should be printing out this username to go along with it. To figure that out, you need to keep track of the location, which is just 1 extra line in the find maximum code. So you copy over the find minimum code, again I'm going to go over that in a minute, and you change a few things, and then for task 2 you add 1 line here, and then you just change it slightly here as well. Let's look at the other one, counting occurrences. So that's the one where you've got a bunch of things in an array, and you need to count how many times something shows up. I haven't done as much code here, but I have done the array. So I've pandered to my audience once again, and I've made it all about Minecraft. So what you've got to do is count the amount of times the grass block appears in the array. So there's the pseudocode to do it. If you copy that, if you get that all right, it should just work like that. The task 2, just to make it, I don't want it to be too easy, just copy and paste basically, is to add input validation. So if you don't remember, input validation is that thing from Nat 5 where you repeatedly ask the same question again until you get an answer you want. So any password program we've done in the past, where you just keep asking again and again and again in a while loop. So that's actually, this entire lesson is about standard algorithms. Input validation is a standard algorithm, it's just a Nat 5 one. But I wanted to make it so that it only selects one of the most common blocks, which are grass, wood and granite. I don't know if that's true. I don't know about Minecraft. I don't know enough about Minecraft. So I'm sorry if that's offending anyone, but that's just how I'm gonna make it. So yeah, you just edit this program and have a question at the start that says, please pick grass, wood or granite, and then if they pick something else, well, it just repeatedly asks the question until it picks one of the ones you want. For task 1, the expected output should be the grass block appears 8 times, because, well, it appears 8 times in this list here. The last one, linear search, it's a little bit different. It's just, again, there isn't like an extra task for this one. It's just look at the pseudocode and get it, and then, well, you're breaking up into the two subprograms, obviously. So I've got a bunch of different famous people here, and the task is to find the most famous of them all, Brie Larson. So to do that, you just have to, like I said, just copy this out and put it into Python, and it should say Brie Larson was found at position 47. Now, that's a general overview. Like I said, just in case you're a bit rusty, I'm going to go over how to do finding minimum, the very first one, line by line. So I've already started it off for you. If you look at this, so function, find minimum, and then procedure, display. So hopefully you remember, but if not, we'll go over it. The difference between a function and a procedure is that a function returns something at the end of it, whereas a procedure doesn't return anything. So every time you've got a display method, it's going to be considered a procedure because it doesn't actually return a variable to be used into the main program. So I've done the basic setup of the main program here, and then all your procedures and functions should be here. In the main program, you've got the array, and then it runs the find minimum method, and it passes the array down to find minimum, and then this runs. It's renamed, just in case you're a bit confused about the pseudocode here. Remember, when you're between the main program and the subprograms here, the procedures and functions, you should be getting into the habit of using different names. So it's called age array here, but I've called it age list up top, and then when we're about to type this code, we should refer to that as age list. That'll run. Once you've finished it, it'll return the minimum number, but it has to be displayed in a separate function. Now it seems a bit stupid making, a separate procedure. It seems a bit stupid making it separate at the moment, but you'll know yourself, as we get to like more complicated tasks in the coursework, that's what you're going to have to do this. So we return the minimum, and you pass it to the display method, and then notice how it's called min down here. So when you return minimum, when you run find, I'll start again. Age array is here. We've got the whole age array. You run find minimum, which has age array passed down to it, and it is called age list. Age list, once the find minimum program subprogram is ran, it will return minimum to here, which is called min. Min is then passed down to display result. We're back up here, it's called minimum. Remember, different names, so it's called minimum up here, min down here, and then you need to display it. So let's go through it line by line. So the first one is set minimum to age list 0. So to do that, whenever you see a set, it's just minimum equals age list 0, and then for I from 0, so the length of, that's the len function. The len function counts how large the array is, or the list. So we're just going to make a loop and go for I in range 0 to the length of age list. So that will count how many things is in age list, and then loop round that many times. After that, you're doing your if statement. So if age list I is less than minimum, so it's if age list I is less than minimum, and then I think it's the set minimum to age list. Minimum equals age list I. And then you just end the if statement, end the loop. Remember, in Python, you don't have to do anything to end the if statement. All you got to do is take a new line, delete, end the loop, delete. And we do have to return the minimum though, so we just write, oh wait, it's already there for us, sorry. So return minimum, and that's it. Once that minimum will eventually pass to here, and all you've got to write is the lowest age was and minimum. So we'll make this print the lowest age was, comma, minimum. And I think that's it. I just realized, I'll fix it for you guys before upload this, but I've called this a different name. So I've called it display result here and display here. I'll make sure these are both display, and then we'll run that. and the lowest age was 50. That is not right. It means we didn't go into this if statement. We didn't do this if statement properly. It's because I can't spell minimum, right? And then, so that was working, it was setting it, but it was setting a new variable called minmum. And then obviously the reason it's green underlined means you're not using this variable later. So I didn't use minmum. So if we put minimum, that should hopefully work now. Yeah, the lowest age was 19. And yeah, like I said, for the next task, finding max, just copy and paste it. And then for task 2 of finding max, I'll give you a hint. The line of code you need to add goes right here for the task 2 of finding max. It just goes right there, and then you do something with the variable you make later. Right, that's all from me. Thanks.